G'day and welcome to Esti-mate Electrical, the program that has literally been designed to save you time and therefore money whilst helping you estimate with confidence. Ready for your first tender? Let's get started. The program has a handy auto save function, so no need to worry about saving before moving between sections. Okay, first things first, let's set up your factory settings. Next to the item tab is defaults. Here you can select your default unit rates for labour, material markup, light fitting markup and so on. Once these are entered, all tenders moving forward will already have these values inserted. Your factory settings already come with default pricing. However, we do believe it's best you check this section out and update the pricing to your prices from your supplier if appropriate. To update, you can either update items individually by clicking on the edit button, or you can bulk update by our handy CSV file, drag and drop. Once this is done, there's no need to do it again until it's time to do a price list update, which we suggest is done annually. Once on the home page, head to the top right of the page, click My Tenders, then New Tender. On the left-hand side of the page, you will find your quick access menu. Keep in mind two things. One, factory settings must be done first, followed by general information. And two, if you fill out each page in order, making sure you fill out each section before moving on to the next, you should fly through this. General information. Fill out the project specifics. From the title, right through to description. This information is important, as it is transferred to your tender document when generated at the end of your tender. We will touch more on the tender document later. It's important to fill out all the sections on this page, as it sets up the whole tender document with the relevant information required for your tender register and tender statistics. Prelims and General. This section can actually be done at any point in the tender process. Simply click on Add Item and enter the relevant quantities. If the item is not on the list, select Create New Item. And any item that you create is then stored in your factory settings for future use. Up next is Consumer Mains, and we start with selecting the size and enter the quantity as per the relevant unit of measure. If you are unsure of the labour rate associated with this section, refer to the Table of Suggested Times, which can be found on the Guides page. If the cables you require are not already on the default list, you guessed it, simply create a new item and, once a new item is created, it is stored away in your factory settings. On to Conduits. Start by selecting the type of conduit and enter the quantity as per the relevant unit of measure. Once again, on the Guides page, you can find the Table of Suggested Times as a helpful reference if you're unsure of the labour rate associated with this section. If the conduits you require are not already on the default list, simply create a new item. The next section to complete, you will see, is cable trays. Click on Add Item and select the cable tray required. Enter the amount of meters. We'll notice that the trapeze is an auto calculation, so no need to change anything here. Add your labour rate units as per the unit of measurement for the cable trays, and then add labour rate for trapeze. Next up is installation of lighting. Click on Add New Item. Choose the light type as per the plans or drawings, or at your discretion. For example, for the D1s, choose downlight and then add the quantity needed. Important to note here, if you are supplying the light fitting, insert the unit rate per light fitting and insert the unit rate for labour. You can find the suggested labour rates in the labour unit rate sheet located on the Guides page. Again, if the item is not currently available, click on Create New Item and, as always, this item will now be available in all your tenders. Moving down the page to light wiring. Enter the light feed length in meters as per the switchboard location. Then enter the lighting loop length as per your discretion. Next, if applicable, enter the number of two-way switches that are within the project, along with the average length in meters. If you are supplying the light fittings for this job, Your Markup tab is located in the Tender Summary section. Next, we scroll down through Derived Items. Here, it's important to note that quantities are auto-calculated as per the input previously entered in the light wiring section above. Also remember that your material rates are set to default as per your factory settings. Now, insert your labour unit rate as required. And last thing in this section is switching. Hit the Add New Item button and select the relevant switch or sensor type. Insert the quantity needed and then insert your labour unit rate as per the unit of measure. Moving on to installation of power. Click on Add New Item. If there is a requirement for a new item of the same amperage, rather than creating a new item, clone it to ensure correct formulas apply. Enter the quantity as per the takeoff. For more information on cloning, see the guides page. Keep on moving down the page to power wiring. Enter the power feed length in meters as per the switchboard location. Then enter the power loop length as per your discretion. Next, we scroll down through derived items as these should already be complete. Lastly, fill out the independent items, remembering to hit Add Item if it's not on the list and create a new item. Next up, switchboards. As per the project plans, enter the quantity of switchboards required and then proceed to fill out all remaining fields. Communications and NBN. Click on Add New Item. As per the takeoff, enter the quantity of communications and data outlets that are required and then proceed to fill out all remaining fields. Down to the communication settings. Enter the average point length in meters as per your discretion. And remembering the derived items will already be filled out. Down to independent items. Scroll through and select as required. MATV. Click on Add New Item and as per takeoff, enter the quantity of TV outlets that are required and then proceed to fill out all remaining fields. Then move down to the MATV settings. Enter the average point length in meters as per your discretion. And remember, the derived items will already be filled out. Scroll on down through independent items and select as required. Fire systems. Fire systems is fairly straightforward. Remember to just start at the top of the page and work your way down, filling out each section. First, click Add New Item, then enter the quantity required as per your takeoff and the material rate, if applicable, in this project. Scroll on down to Fire Wiring. Here, enter the required feed length, as per the fire indicator panel's location. Then, add the loop length as per your discretion. Remember, the derived items will autofill for you. Almost done! Subcontractors. Following on from the previous segments, click on Create New Item. Then, proceed to fill out all remaining fields as required. Don't forget to add your subcontractor markup in the Tender Summary section. When it comes to the Inspections and Compliance section, enter the fields as you require. And finally, the Tender Summary. Look at that! As the name suggests, this tab is the summary of all completed fields, giving you a visual overview of the tender. It's good to note that your estimated profit is calculated by using the labour input in the overall settings and combining the number of A grades and apprentices you'll expect to engage to complete the project. Make sure in the tender summary you apply all relevant markup percentages to the fields that suggest to do so. And you're done! To the right of the page are your expenses and profit laid out clearly to see. Have a look below the tender summary. This is where you'll see all the supporting information needed for your tender in one spot. In the At a Glance section, you can see the total hours as well as total material with and without a markup and any other markups associated within this tender. Below the At a Glance section is the Markup Distributor. Here, in order to generate your tender document, you will need to distribute your markup over the fields equaling 100%. Once this is done, click on Generate Doc, located at the top right-hand corner of the page. With your first tender done, good luck, you are now equipped to estimate with confidence.